All right, I think we're on. So I want to say welcome to everybody joining us here today for our Wednesday webinar. We try to bring these to you every Wednesday to teach you something about Skipio, help you learn all of the different parts and pieces of the account that you can use and learn how to make best use of those things and learn how to use them better. So we're excited to bring you a new training today on something we've actually not trained before, Jenna, right? I don't think we've ever covered this before in a webinar, so we're excited to talk about it. My name's Jen, if you haven't seen or met me before here or in the Zoom room. And we have Jana with us today. She is our head of our Mary Kay channel. So we're so excited and happy to have her here with us. She is here to answer your questions. As I'm demonstrating and going through things, I don't always see the questions. So Jana will be here to answer questions throughout. And then at the end, if we have any questions that we want to answer live or anything we didn't get to yet, we'll go over that as well. So Jana, say hello. And I know you had a few things that you wanted to tell them about that you were going to drop into the chat right off the bat, right?
Yep, for sure. So I'm going to do that right now. I just want to make sure that you're all aware we do have a Facebook community specifically for our Mary Kay users. So make sure if you haven't joined to join that. If you have, make sure to check it out. We post announcements every week. We post our recorded webinars. We also just make announcements there, and then it's a great spot to interact with the Mary Kay sales force. So if you have questions or tips on what's working, campaigns you're using or messaging or whatnot, it's a really great spot to go to. Of course, you can reach out to us as well if you have questions on that Facebook community. So I'll drop in that link. I'm going to drop in the YouTube playlist that we have specific to Mary Kay, so you can check out the recorded videos there. And of course, that information's in your resource center as well. And then I'll drop in that campaign that Jen's going to share with you. So you've got that import code.
Yep, so keep an eye on the chat. Jenna's going to be dropping that important stuff in there. I've seen a few people mention already that they're brand new. So one thing you're going to want to make sure is go to that Mary Kay playlist and watch the Skipio 101 training that we did last week. That's going to walk you through an overview of the account and seeing every different page and where to find everything and how to do all the basics. So make sure you go into that Mary Kay playlist that Jana's going to drop there in the chat and check out that Skipio 101 training for sure. But should you be here today? Absolutely. This is definitely something you're going to want to learn. You may not use it right off the bat. This is a little bit more of an advanced feature, but it's definitely something you want to learn about and see if there's something in your messaging needs that this might fit. So let's jump right in and talk about setting up these recurring messages. This is something that we've been asked by quite a few Mary Kay users especially. I know that directors in particular like to send out a weekly reminder message or things like that. So we wanted to talk about how to set that up for yourself. So I want to explain briefly, and don't feel overwhelmed by the information here. We do record this. It's going to be on that playlist within 24 to 48 hours. So you'll be able to review this and see, what it is that we did here today. If you forget right after we're off, or if you're setting it up later and you need to review, don't worry, you're going to have access to that recording. So what we're going to do here is create a loop using 2 drip campaigns where people can get a recurring message every week. Now, this method that I'm going to teach you in particular only really works if your message never changes. So if the message that you're sending out every week stays the same. So maybe it's a meeting reminder for a Zoom meeting or something like that. This looping process will only work if the message is always the same. It's possible to change the message at any time, but you would want to change it in both campaigns. And I'll explain that more as I actually show it to you. But to give you kind of just a really basic understanding, what we're going to be doing is setting up 2 campaigns that are identical, and we will add the context to the first campaign, and using a smart rule feature, we're going to tell that campaign to send those contacts a message. And once it's sent, we're going to tell it to send them to another campaign. And then the second campaign will do the same thing. It will send out the message and then loop them back to the first campaign. So they go in campaign 1, they receive the message, they're put into campaign 2, they receive the message, they're put into campaign 1, and we just continue looping like that so that they're getting this recurring message. So let me get right into the account and start sharing with you exactly step by step how to do this. Okay, so the first thing that you'll do is go to your campaigns tab, and I have set up 2 campaigns for you to use as a template. So you want to import those campaigns into your account. So I'm going to click on the plus sign. So let me back up. When you're in the account, you're on your resource center first. Over on the left-hand side, there's a little tab, or there's a little icon that's for campaigns. So you'll click on that. Then you'll click the plus sign and import campaign. Now the import code for this particular package is loop, just the word loop, all caps. And I'm going to click import. And then you'll see here on the left side that I got a weekly reminder 1 and a weekly reminder 2. So we're going to go into weekly reminder 1. And anytime you're creating a looping campaign scenario, you need to create both campaigns and then go back in and set the smart rules, because we need to have both campaigns created in order to set it up. So in this instance, this will be for a Tuesday night Zoom meeting, okay? But you can go in and edit these campaigns and change them to, fit your needs for what you need for your recurring message. So to do that, I click on the campaign. So I clicked on weekly reminder 1, and I'm going to go to that first message and click this arrow next to the trash can. That will drop the message down into an editing format, okay? Now I'm going to have wait 7 days and then the delivery time I want. So let's say I have a 6 o'clock meeting. I want them to get a reminder 30 minutes before. So I've set it for 5:30 p.m. Now, because this is a weekly reminder, it's important that the wait time is 7 days. And then the delivery time is whatever time I want it to deliver. Okay, and then the message here says, this is your weekly reminder about our Tuesday night Zoom. Can't wait to see you there. You might put in a link here to your Zoom, emojis, an image, anything that you want with your message. Once you have the message text, the body of the message, the way you want it, we're going to go down and set a rule. So let me just delete this one so you can see what it looks like before we've added it. So we've got this message, we've got it set how we want it, exactly what we want it to say. And we're going to click add rule. And then it says execute rule when, and it says the contact replies or clicks a skip link. So we actually want to execute the rule when this campaign message is sent. So you want to change that to this campaign message is sent, meaning we want this rule to kick off as soon as this message is sent to the contact. And then what we're going to tell it to do is add the contact to another campaign. And then I'm going to select my weekly reminder 2. Now remember, I'm in my weekly reminder 1 campaign right now. So I've set the messaging, I've added the rule, I told the rule to execute when the campaign message is sent, and then it's going to add the contact to weekly reminder 2. Now I need to save. Then I'm going to go into weekly reminder 2. You can see it down here on the left-hand side. If I made changes to the message, I want to make those changes here as well, because again, you want this to look like one recurring message that's the same every time. So you want to make sure that both of your campaigns, the messaging looks the same. Or if for some reason you want the messaging to be different, just keep in mind that every other week it will change. So I would recommend keeping them the same, because the purpose of this is really to create a single recurring message. We're kind of just tricking the system into doing it for us by looping these campaigns. So again, you'll want to click this arrow to put it in the editing format. If you had an alternate time that's different than what's on the template, go ahead and do that. Make sure you keep that 7 days if this is a weekly reminder. And then set your message to be identical. And then again, on the rule, we want to make sure it's set to this campaign message is sent. And then we want to add the contact to weekly reminder 1. Because again, right now we're in weekly reminder 2. So we want to send them back to weekly reminder 1. Then we're going to go ahead and click save. Now what's going to happen is when we add a contact to the script campaign, they are going to receive the message and then be added to the second one. Then when they're in the second campaign, they'll receive that message and then be added back to the first, and we'll loop like that. Now, if this is hurting your brain a little bit, don't worry, it hurts my brain a little bit too, but it works really wonderfully for a recurring message. Okay, so now that we have that set up, the big question is, how do we get our contacts started in there and get the message sent out at the right time on the right day? So with a drip campaign, and these are drip campaigns, remember that reminder campaigns are only for use with events. So when you're creating a recurring campaign or a recurring message by looping campaigns, you want to be using a drip campaign. And that's the kind you'll get when you import this template. So remember, on a drip campaign, when you add a contact to the campaign, the messaging goes out from that point. So today it's Wednesday. This is a Tuesday reminder. So let's add a contact. I'm just going to go into, let me back up here. I always get ahead of myself. Okay, so I'm in the campaign itself. I click on add contacts and choose the contact that I want to add. I'm going to go ahead and hit confirm and scroll down and click save. Now, when I go to, let me refresh here. Oh, you know what? It's because that's not a good contact. Let me find my good contact here. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and click save. There we go. I forgot that that number doesn't work for that contact because this is a demo account. Okay. So now that I've got my contact in the campaign, if I click on it, if I click on the name here, the little bubble here, it's going to pull up that contact's their profile in my Skipio account. And I can see that they have a scheduled message for next Wednesday at 5:30 because it's a Wednesday, right? But this is a Tuesday reminder. So how am I going to fix so that they get started at the right time? I'm going to go into this scheduled tab on the why can't I find my words today? On their, what is this called? Anybody? On their little ID here. I can't think of it, guys.
I just call it their profile.
Their profile, you guys. I don't know what, like, words fall out of my head.
Hey,
I
it
hope I'm not
happens to
the
me
only
too, Jen.
one. Thanks, Jana, for popping it.
No problem.
Profile. Okay. So once you go to their profile and click on this schedule tab, if you notice this pencil here, you can actually edit the time that this message is going out, even though it's part of a campaign. Now, here's a really important point, so don't forget this. When you are editing the timing of a campaign message, do not click this red circle with the minus sign. That can remove them from the campaign, actually. What you want to make sure that you click on is the clock icon itself. So not the red circle, but the clock icon itself will pop up that calendar, and then I can change. So today is the 17th, and I want this reminder to go out for next Tuesday. So I'm just going to move it to the 23rd. The time is right because 5:30 p.m. is when I want it to go. So I'm just going to select the 23rd, click done. And then you'll see down here that the send button has updated with that timing and that date of Tuesday, the 23rd. So then I'll go ahead and click send. Now this contact is going to get that first message on February 23rd. Then when she does, she's going to automatically be added, and it will be a Tuesday when this happens, right? You can see right here that this message is going to go out on a Tuesday. So when she gets this message on Tuesday, the campaign has that rule that says, hey, when this message goes out, then add this contact to the other campaign. Well, on it next Tuesday, she's going to get this message, then she'll be added to the other campaign. And if you remember, the delay time on that campaign is 7 days, right? So next Tuesday, she gets this message, she gets added to campaign number 2. It waits 7 days, which would be the following Tuesday, sends the message, and then sends her back to campaign number 1. So we've created this loop, okay? Now let's talk about if you need to get several contacts into this recurring message, this looping campaign. You don't want to go into each one of them and click on their profile and click on their scheduled and edit. So let's talk about a little trick to that. So I'm going to go to the address book, and I'm going to go ahead and click on a few contacts here. Let's do just a few people here and add them to a group. Okay, so I've just selected a few contacts. I'm going to go create group from selected contacts, and let's call it Tuesday reminder. Or this might be like your working unit or your active customers or whoever this recurring message is going to be happening for. All right. Now, when I go to that group here that I've created, now remember in the address book, groups are the ones that you create. System groups are the ones the system creates for you with the integration. So anytime you create a group, you'll find it under the groups dropdown. And let's go down to that Tuesday reminder. Now, if I add the group to this campaign, let's add them to weekly reminder 1 this way. Okay, so I went to add group to campaign, weekly reminder 1, and then I hit confirm. And then that's going to add my group to the campaign. Now, here's a trick. When you organize your people into a group before you add them to the campaign, then one thing you can do is click on view group details, and it's going to show you any messages that are scheduled for the people in this group. Now, here's the one I scheduled to my contact the first time. And then here's the one I sent to the entire group. Now you can see it's scheduled for next Wednesday because we started it on a Wednesday and it has a 7-day delay. If I click edit here, I can go ahead and edit that delivery time for the entire group at one time. So I'm going to go ahead and change it to the 23rd, click done, and then I can go ahead and click on send on the 23rd. Now you can see that all the contacts from this group that have good numbers are going to receive that campaign on Tuesday as intended. So in this way, you can go ahead and start an entire group, because you'll probably need to do that. If you're setting up a recurring message, the likelihood is that you want this to go to an entire group, right? So to get that group started, organize those people into a group, add them to the campaign, click on view group details, and then edit that first message to get the timing started correctly. Once you have them getting that first reminder on the correct day of the week, then every subsequent reminder will be on the correct day because we've got it set at that 7-day delay. Okay, so let's talk about what if you need to remove someone from this loop. What you would then do is just remove them from the campaign. So once you take them out of the campaign at all, it's going to remove them from both, because if they're not getting that message, then they're not looping back to the other one either. So I've got the people who are in my campaign. I went to the campaigns tab. I get contacts in this campaign. I'm going to go ahead and click on, and then I could remove, let's say we want to remove this one, and then I'll just save. And then she won't receive any further messages. Another thing that you can do is if you just happen to be talking to that person, and so you're on their profile, you're on the contact, you can actually go down on their main profile page and it will show you any campaigns they're a part of here. If you click the X there and hit save, that will also remove them from a campaign. So all you need to do is remove them from whatever campaign in the loop they're in, and then they won't receive any more recurring messages for that loop. Conversely, if you need to add just a single person, let's say you have this is a weekly reminder and you get a new team member, so you need to add them to the loop, you do it just the way we talked about in the beginning. Just add that person to the campaign, go into their profile, look at the schedule tab, adjust that very first message so that it's going on the correct day of the week. And once you do, every subsequent message will go at the right time because of the timing in the two campaigns being that 7-day delay. All right, I know that's a lot of information and it is a little bit of a brain buster. It is a little bit more of an advanced use of campaigns, but I love having that option. I've seen a lot of Mary Kay users be able to set this up and use it successfully so that they do have that recurring message happening. One other thing that I wanted to cover, and I haven't looked at the chat, so I don't know if this question has been asked, but keep in mind that adding a person to a group will not automatically add them to a campaign that group is a part of. So if you add a new person to that group, you're still going to need to get them started in that campaign by adding them to the campaign and adjusting the date of that very first message. All right. So Jana, do we have questions we haven't answered or things that we want to answer live specifically? And Jana, did that make sense? Because I'm telling you, that's a hard one to explain.
It did. I mean, fortunately for me, I've walked through it a few times. So for those of you that this is your first time, just go back and replay this, and you'll get the hang of it as you do it yourself. And then Jen's got that template for you also, so that you can refer to that and tweak it however you want, but use that as your building block. So I dropped that into the chat. It's the loop, so LOOP in all caps. That you would use to import your campaign template. If you're not sure how to import a campaign template, we've got that information in the Resource Center, or reach out to us. We can help you out with that.
And it's on this video too. It'll be on this recording.
For sure. So let's get to questions then. I don't know if you want to stop the recording or include those in the recording.
No, let's include them in case they are helpful to this subject.
Perfect. So we did have a great question from Marla. She asked if she can go ahead and create new campaigns on her account if she's a free account. And so, Marla, it depends if you're a freemium option or if you're that free silver trial option. Free silver trial will allow you to do the campaigns, create additional campaigns. If you're on the freemium option, that's our limited option to really just kind of get a glimpse into a Skipio account. You can create new ones, but you can only save 2 campaigns at a time in your account. So if you're wanting to create a new one, specifically like this loop campaign, then you're going to need to delete your saved campaigns in there to be able to add that in. Hope that makes sense. It looks like Kim had a question as well about, can we loop more than one campaign?
So I don't know if you mean putting more than 2 campaigns in a loop, or if you can have more than one looping campaign scenario. Yes to both. You're just using this smart rule function to tell the system after this message sends, put them in this campaign. So you could do that with several campaigns. You could have more than 2 campaigns in a loop. You can have more than one looping campaign scenario. So you could have a looping set of campaigns, because it's always going to be at least 2, right? So you could have a looping set of campaigns for a weekly Zoom reminder and a different set of campaigns for some other reminder. Absolutely. Just keep in mind that when you start someone in that loop, to get that first message edited to the right start date. And then keep in mind that if you ever need to edit your message for any reason, to update it in both places, so that you update it in both campaigns that you're using in the loop. I saw a couple of people mention clinical solutions. Yeah. And here's the other thing. You can use this smart feature of sending them to another campaign without creating a loop. We're using the loop for this particular instance, but there's so much you can do with smart campaigns. So first of all, I would recommend going to the Resource Center and literally just type the word smart into the search bar, and it will pull up an article on smart campaign features. But you can always create a situation where a campaign moves someone to another campaign. So it might not be a loop, but it might be a series of, they finish a campaign, you move them to another campaign. You can do things like they finish a campaign and they reply, and that reply moves them to another campaign. There's lots of great things you can do with smart rules. And then, as always, you will hear me suggest this again and again. When you create these things for the first time, put yourself through them as a contact. That way you can see that they're working correctly, that the timing is set correctly, and you can feel confident when you send that out to your customers that it's going out as you expect. All right. Any other questions that we didn't answer?
I think we covered them all. It does, there's a few specific ones that are a little bit more technical for their account. It doesn't have to do with loop campaign. So check out your resource center for those articles, for those how-tos. And then if you're still not sure, you need a little bit of assistance, then reach out to us. I will drop my phone number as well for our Mary Kay team that you can reach out to by text, or you can contact us through Facebook. Jen's available in the Zoom room as well, Monday through Friday in the mornings. And all that information is in your how to contact support article in your resource center.
Yeah, if you do have something that's happening specifically in your account, we need to actually get in and check out what's happening in your account. So if you have something specific to your account, always reach out to us one-on-one. We don't want to share your account information on a video or on a Facebook wall or anything like that. So when you have something happening in your account, definitely reach out to us. We definitely want to get in there, take a look, see what's happening, and really help you out. Okay, so Cassandra had a question. Do we need to set it? So for weekly reminder 2, do we need to set it day for 7 days after the end of reminder 1? Yep. So you want these campaigns to look identical. They should absolutely be just almost a mirror image of each other, except they have a different name, so that when you assign it, it knows where to send it. So you always want that delay of 7 days, because if it's a Tuesday reminder, they're going to get that message on a Tuesday, because you're going to adjust that first one, right? And then it's going to, right after they send that message, we're telling the system to send it to the other campaign. Well, we need it to wait 7 more days to send the next message, because we want to go out on a Tuesday again, right? So you need to have that delay of 7 days, and then whatever fixed time you want that to go out. So it should look the same in both campaigns. All right. So again, this is a little bit of a brain bender one, and this is a more advanced use. Get in there, put in that template, tinker around with it, put yourself in it so you can see how it works. And I think you'll find that this is going to help you a lot when you need to set up those recurring messages that you don't want to have to remember. Now, let's talk about one more thing real quick. Sometimes there's an instance where a looping campaign recurring message isn't actually appropriate because the information changes a lot, but maybe the majority of the information is the same, just some things change. Maybe the link changes or some little detail changes. Don't forget to use your message library. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen real quick because I want to remind you about this. So when I'm in any form of the composer, if you see this little icon here that says message library, and you open that, this is where you can save messages that you reuse over and over and over again. And so here I just give it a title that's for my reference only. And then you can type out anything you want here. You can always edit these. You can add emojis. You can use merge tags, images, and then you go ahead and save those. And what happens is when you are in the composer and you want to use a frequently used reply, you just find it in your message library. You literally just give it a click and it drops it right down into there. Then you can make little tweaks and changes as you need to. So as you're going through this process, if you're setting up a recurring message in a loop and you're finding, oh, my message really changes all the time, this isn't the right use for this, I highly recommend going to that message library and creating those frequently used messages and saving those there, because that is another great way to quickly respond or quickly schedule messages. So if the loop isn't quite the right fit for your need for this particular thing, I would recommend then moving to using the message library. All right. Marla, she didn't even know about it. See, that's what we love, is teaching you something new. I love the message library.
I love it.
It's so helpful. Definitely get in there, play around with that. You can edit those messages. You can remove them when you're done with them. It's fantastic. So definitely use that feature. Well, we want to keep this short. We try to keep these to 30 minutes, and our 30 minutes is up. So I just want to say thanks again for being with us here today. I hope you'll review this recording if you want to refresh what we went over. If you have any account questions, any specific account questions, please reach out to our support so we can help you. We want to make sure that everything is working great for you with your service. And we hope you guys are all staying safe and that you have a wonderful day. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks so much, Jen.
Bye.